Okay, so we already if we open our requirement drive, assignment 3. Okay, we already talked about how to build an Angular project and how to create a component. And we also talked about how to create an Angular routing, right, to allow you to navigate from one page to another. Next thing we will talk about is client service. How can we really getting the data? How can we really using right now we are not using JavaScript anywhere, right? Right now we are involved with TypeScript. TypeScript is an enhanced version of JavaScript. It's based on JavaScript, but it allows you to define the type of it. So let's start about it. Here is my assignment. Let's open this in Sublime. Okay, I think that's it. Oh, no. All right, so let's just follow the requirement. So the first thing we need to do is create Angular services to provide a central place to access and update data. So we will create following services with operations, implement all services in source app service folder. So we first need to create that folder in our source app here. Let's create that folder, a new folder called services. Okay, and in this empty folder we will put 4 files there. One is called user.service.client.ts. Another one is called a website and a page and a widget. Let me show you how to create the first one. Okay, just create a new file. Right click, create a new file inside it.
Are you recording?
Yeah, I'm recording this. New file in the service folder we just created. Okay, we'll create a new file here. And we can call it, so the name we call it is user.service.client.ts. So just user.service.client.ts. Okay. And right now we are still doing the front end stuff. Here is the place where we are getting the data from the server, and this is a function we will call after we getting the data. Okay. So here is in the user service, implement the user service in a file called this, and do things like those things. Okay, the first thing we want to do is initialize a user array. This array is our current data. We are trying to create some mock data here, like those data we assume those data are getting from our server. Okay, so I already created example snippet of code here. If I just copy that, let's give you the layout of everything. Okay, so here, this is how the user service client is working. It's showing first thing we will import the injectable here. This is just for every client TS we will import the injectable here. It allows you to export in the future. And here we will export this class. The class is just how can I describe? A class is just is like an object, but it's not actually an object. Like something where we're trying to put some code inside this class. Like we have an array here, have some function here in this class. Well, we're trying to export this class. Like if we have another file, import this class, well, then we can use the function inside it. We can use the function using the data inside it. Okay. So inside this class, the class is called user service. It has an array of users here. This users array is the data we currently have in our project. We have a user. His ID is 123, and the name is Alice, and the username is Alice. Password is Alice. First name is Alice. Last name is Wonder, and her email is this. And this is one user's data. And here we have another user's data, and another. Those are the user data we have. Like this is the mock data we created. It's not a real user data. We assume this is data we're getting from our server. Okay, and in the future we are getting the real data from the server. Right now we assume this is data we're getting from server. Okay, and after that we will have some functions here. We have create user, find user by ID, find user by username, find user by credentials, find user and update user and delete user. Okay, those are the functions we are connected with our HTML page. Those all functions related to user. This is why we separate it into user.service.cs and ts and website.service and page.service and widget service. All of them are organized depends on what kind of pages they will link together, what kind of service they're trying to provide. So this is all about user. Create a user. This is a function. Okay, you see they have some different syntax as our JavaScript. In JavaScript, when we're trying to create a function, we'll write function and create a user. Right? In TypeScript, we just we don't have to put functions here. We just directly create a function called create a user. That's just a little different syntax. We just ignore the function word there. So the function is called create user, and it takes a user. Okay, and the command after it is just telling him the type of it. Like you don't have to have it. Like that means let's create a user function. We'll take a user as input. If you add a comma here, saying integer here, integer here, that means integer. How to spell integer? Like this. And let me go string. Okay. If I say comma string here, that means this user pass here will be always a string. If you're trying to give me something like if you're trying to give me a number, I will give you error. No, you cannot input a number here. It has to be a string. This is the only thing TypeScript give us. Like it allows us to define the type of input. That's a guarantee. Like we are not trying to give some weird stuff. Like in the future, if you take a look about our assignment 2. Where is that? I think it's. Did I delete it? Let me just create some function here. So let's put it in our desktop. Test.js. Okay. In the future, we're trying to create a function. Like we'll create a function like sum, takes num1 and num2, and then return num1 plus num2. It's basically we're trying to sum up two numbers. But JavaScript doesn't care what kind of input I give it. It doesn't really check it for me. When I call a function, I can say sum 1 and 2. Let's give me a 3. I can also say sum hello and word. The way wrong is for me. It doesn't really care about if I give it a number or a string. Or maybe I give some crazy stuff. Actually, sum hello and array of number. This is going to run into error, but this is not what we expect. So the TypeScript gives us the ability to limit the input has to be a number. In a TypeScript, I can say, okay, I'll say you have to be a number. And num2, you also have to be a number. And then when I call the function, it won't allow me to give a string or give like an array here. It only allows me to give numbers as input, right? And if you just also delete the function here, that is a TypeScript syntax. Okay, this column number is not required. You don't have to have it, but this is just ability allows you to do that. Okay. This is also works for in TypeScript. You don't really have to put to limit a type for it. And if you put type any here, that means you can pass in anything. Okay, it just give you that ability to do that. All right. So if you come back to this, our user.service client. This is our create user function. It takes a user. Okay. takes a user, and the user will basically actually want to put it like a user type, but there is not the user type. There is nothing called user type, right? We only have string, have number, have boolean, have array. There's no user type. We actually can create it in the future. I'll show you how to do that. But right now we can see you can just give anything. Okay, the user can be anything. I can just don't put anything there. So it means the user can be anything. And what do we do in this function? Well, we create a variable. Variable is called a user ID. Not user ID. Sorry. Actually, we're trying to update the user's ID. Okay, here we're trying to update the user's ID. Okay, this user is our input, right? This user is our input. We input a user here. We are updating your ID into a random number, and we are trying to push this user into our user's array. And then we also want to return this user out. This function, think about what we will call this function. This is a function when we're trying to register, right? When a user trying to register, right? When they register, they will create their own username, their own password, their own first name and last name, right? But they won't create their own ID, right? Those information are going to be user input. The user will input those data by themselves, and so we have to generate a random ID for them. And then we will know after we generate the ID for them, there will be a completely object like this, right? It will be the user will have username, will have password, have first name, have last name, have email, and also have ID. This is what a user looks like. The next step, we want to push it into our array here, and then we'll just return this user out. So if we want to test if this function is working, we can create a JavaScript file and create a HTML file, see if they are working. Right? Say if I just create, I already have a test.js here. Let me open it in JavaScript, in Sublime, and I can create an HTML file for it. Test.html. Let me link them together. So it will be script test.js. Oh, sorry, it's not type. It should be src test.js. Okay, I can actually test it. Let me copy that here. I want to copy the whole array into my JavaScript here, and have to have a variable here, and then I just create a function here. Okay, I create a function here, and I'll say function create a user. Well, if I want to test this function, I can just call it here. Say console.log create a user. I want to see if you're already working. And remember, this create user will takes a user object, right? Let me try to copy our object here. It will take the object. Actually, I can copy that object. I can create a new object, variable new user, right? It's equal to an object. It has a username equals to admin password equal just pass, yeah, and first name admin, last name. Those I'm just trying to create a new object here. Like one, and email admin@gmail.com. This is the object. I can actually just passing this object to the function. If I try to run it, open this in browser. F12. Tell me, create user is not defined. Oh, I think I have a typo there. Create user. Okay. Yes, give me back object because I asked it to return me the user, right? The user have an email equal to admin@gmail.com, has first name, has last name, has password username, and has ID. It's random number I give it, right? If I refresh it, it random another number for me. Master random is 1 to. How can random a integer? Like let me JavaScript random integer. Let me just give a really big number here, and yeah, refresh it. No, what is? Oh, should be like that. Master flow, master random, times master flow. Okay, let's just return this. Okay, this will give me an integer, I guess, and it will take a number here, like that. Okay, this will generate ID for me, a random ID. This is just the temporary ID we're using. In the future, we'll generate a real random ID here. Okay, so each time.
Could you just do something that just counts up?
Yeah, we can do that, but you know, if you want to do that, we need to get the last person in this array and get its ID and +1. We can do that. It's not really hard. It's all, but we don't have to do it because in the future we want to use this way to generate ID. So it's temporarily use it. Okay. In the future, we're using the database to generate ID for us. So don't worry about that. Okay. So we can actually checking are we really pushing something to this array. So if I just console the log users, I can, and then if I just call this function, I can try to see if I really push something to this array, right? If I refresh a page, I have 5 items here, right? Usually, before I run, I only have 4, and when I refresh page, I have 5. I can take a look, right? I actually have 5 items here. Yeah, I have a 1, 2, 3, 4. Last one here. It has an ID 726. I don't know why it's not showing here.
It's showing at the end.
Yeah, I think it's showing at the end. So the order is maybe different, but it's the same thing. Okay, it's the same user here. Okay, so this is a function. Create a user is a function that we will call this function when we click the register button, right? Each time we click the register button, I'll call this create a user. I create a new user into our database.
So it's like a constructor.
Yeah. And also we have other functions like find user by ID. Right? This one will looking for the user with this given ID. So here we'll go through this, loop through this array, looking for the user with this ID we're looking for, this user ID we're looking for. So it's basically, okay, let x equal to 0, and we will continue when x is smaller than this, the array, the users, the length. This the users just means the users array in this class. Okay, the users array in this class means this the users. This users in this class. Okay, we are looking. We'll stop when x is getting equal or bigger than this the users the length, which means 4, right? Which means 4 here, but it will keep changing after we're pushing things inside it. And every time we're +1 to the x. And now we are looking through the whole array inside it, and then we can compare if this the user. The ID is equal to the user ID we give it, then we want to return this user. Otherwise, we don't do anything. We just keep checking them one by one. And if we checking all of them, then we still cannot find this user. We can just return a null, undefined, things like that. So we just copy this. We can test it here. We actually can test it here. Okay, let me comment this out. and a function here, and also don't forget to remove the column here. Okay, this is our JavaScript syntax, so we can actually test it. Console.log find user by ID, and I will give user ID is equals to 123. Actually, it should be a string. It should be 123. So I'm actually trying to find this user. So if I run this, yeah, I'm getting this user, and its ID is 123. I'm trying to looking for a user with ID equal to 456. Yeah, I'm find this user with ID equal to 456. This is what this function should do here. Okay. And we also have the next function, find the user by username. This is going to be mostly the same as the one provided on top. So just change the ID to equal to username. Then we just finish it, right? Just copy it, and instead of comparing the ID, we're comparing the username, right? X.username is equal to the username I gave it. Oops, not here. Equal to the username I gave it. Okay, this user the username equal to the username I gave it. Then I just return this user. Yeah, this on the X index. If it's username equal to username I gave it, just return this user. Right? This is how the function should work. And next function, find the user by credentials. This one basically will compare both username and password. This is a function we will call when we log in. Like when a user tries to log in, we'll compare if his username and the password matches some of our record in our database. Then we allow him to log in. So this is a similar thing, right? We can just just copy it. Let's just copy it. Okay, we compare the username equal to the username I give it. We also compare the and we compare this the user X the password. Oops, it should be outside of this bracket. The password is equal to the password I give it. If both of them match, we'll return this user. Right, that's it. And this is when user trying to log in, we will know how we're gonna communicate with our data. We'll check if we can find a user equal to that. Then we just find this user for him. And we also have next function is update user. This is a function when user trying to update his profile. Okay, so here what I want to do is I want to firstly find the old user. This function takes two things: a user ID and a new user. This user ID is a user ID that we are trying to update. So we need to find this user ID in this array, and then update its information with our new information. So let's find it. We can say variable old user is a user we're trying to update. We can actually, using this function we created here, right? We have find user by ID. I can just call it. I can just directly call this function here. I can just use it. So I'll try to use this function. I just say this dot find user by ID. I will give user ID because I have an input from user. I have this input here. This user ID. Okay, this is our all the users there. So how can I know where is this user inside this array? It will be a function called index of. So variable index is equal to this the users, this array, and the index of all the user. That means what position is this all the user at? Is that at position 0, index 0, index 1, index 2, index 3? Which one is it? Which one is it? This index of will tell me which one is it. Okay, This will return me either 1, 2, 3, or 0, 1, 2, 3. It will tell me which position it is at. Okay? And then next stuff we need to update it. So I'll update it. I will update it. This star users. The position will be index, right? I update your username. Should be the new username I give it. Should be this user I pass when I call the function. I give you a user. Will be this user the username. And let's copy that. This user the password is equal to this user new password I give it. And your first name, it should equal to the first name I newly created. Oops, stuck. Okay, and your last name and your email. Last name is equal to user last name, and your email is equal to user.email. Okay, this is how you update your user into a new user. If you want to test this function, we can actually test it. So let's copy this function into our JavaScript code. Let's put it here. Update the user, right? Let's add a function before it. Okay, I can actually try it. Remember, we already created a new user here, right? Let me give it a ID. Let me try to say. Actually, I don't need to update the ID. The ID will be the same, right? So if I just say function, not function. I want to call this function console.log. This function is not returning anything, so I cannot cancel log it. But I can actually cancel log the whole users inside this function. Okay, and cancel log the whole users inside this function. So I can just call update user, and I will give it an ID. I want to update 3.5. I want to update this user. So it takes a user ID, and it takes another user. This is a new user. This is a user I just created above here, right? This is a new user. I call this function with ID equals to 3.5 and the user equals to new user. If I call that, let's try take a look here. Let's comment this out. Okay, I'm getting a console log a new array here. The saying the 3.5, the username, password, last name, password, and the username they're updated to the data I give it. Okay, previously it is Charlie and with the email Charlie at hotmail.com. And after I call the function, it updated into this admin password, admin and 1. Right? This is how you update a data in array. This is all of them just JavaScript syntax. Okay. This is how you update a user inside the array. Right? And we still have one more function, delete user. This is also easy, just trying to delete a user inside the array. So how can we do that? So firstly, we need to find which user I want to delete. It's going to be the same thing, variable all the user. That's looking for the user I want to delete. It's equal to this the find user by ID. It's this create function, and I'll give it your user ID here, right? Find this user for me, and then I'll delete you. How can I delete you? Find the index. Index of. That's all the user. Okay. After I find it, I just remove it. In order to remove something from array, are you using the function called splice? Say this the users. This is array, and I call splice on you. Just remove it, and remove which one? The one at index position. Remove only one. That is how you remove stuff in array. And you can also now copy it to the test.js to test if it is really removing things. Let me try it for you. So I have a delete user. Let me copy it to here. Comment this out. This is delete user. Add a function here. Okay. If I'm trying to delete you, all I need to do is call this function, and then we'll console log, see if there's one missing. Console.log users, see if there is getting one missing. So it will be delete user. It takes the ID. It depends on which one I want to remove. I want to remove the last one here with ID equal to 456. So I just put it here. Delete user with this ID for me. If I just check it, I only have 3 items left. That one is removed. Okay, these are all the functions you need to communicate with this array. Depends on the user action. I have create user, find user by ID, find user by username, find user by credentials, update the user, and delete the user. Just some simple JavaScript functions here. It's like our assignment 2. This is even simple, more simple here. Like you can just directly add another one into this array, remove one from the array, and there actually is an easier way to do that. Instead of using the loop here, like we have a loop to find stuff, we can actually using a predefined function, right? If I just comment this out and show you the easier way to do that. There's a function called called find. I can actually just write return. Instead of just loop through the array and return this user, I can just say return this the users, the find. It's a predefined JavaScript function. Find will take the function. It takes a function, and this function can have a user, and inside this I say return user.username is equal to the username. This you don't have to use this syntax. This is a predefined function called find. If you just check JavaScript find, this is actually find something inside the array. Okay, this is actually trying to find something inside the array. Here, what I'm trying to find is, I want to find a user, which username is equal to the username I gave it. I want to return this whole thing out. The find actually takes a function. The find actually takes a function. The function will be called on each item inside this array and checking if there's any username is matches. You don't have to use it if you are not familiar with that. If you don't feel comfortable with that, you can still using the for loop. It does exactly the same thing. Okay, you can still use the for loop. It's all up to you. I just want to give you an option here. This is shorter, but maybe more confusing. Okay, it's all up to you which one you want to use. This one will also work. Okay. Yeah, this is like all the thing we need to do for the user service the client TS. Next thing is about, let's come back, website service. I also provide you a list here, an array of website here. You just need to similarly create a website is equal to this array and write these functions. And I have a description about what each function is trying to do here. And same thing for the page and for the widgets. Okay? These are the things we want to do next. Okay? We want to create these functions for each service. Create user functions for user service. Website functions for website service. Page function for page service. And widget function for widget services. Image services. I already have a description in the assignment which functions should do what. Okay? Like create a website should add the website parameter instance to the local websites array. The new website's developer ID is set to the user ID parameter. Okay?
Can we have that code?
Yeah, this code, of course, I put this on the GitHub, and you can use that as a template to work for the website page and the widget. They looks all similar. Like this one is trying to create a user, and maybe I have another one create a website, and maybe this one is trying to find a user by ID, and you will have another one find the website by ID. They're all similar, almost the same. Okay, so let's firstly upload this to GitHub. And actually, you can here say user ID is type of string. You can add it here. It's not required. Just make it makes more sense. Okay. Let me upload this to GitHub. Master random. I believe this one is giving me a number. I think, do I need to update it to a string? Let me take a look. Check it. Here I can call creating user. Let me comment this out. I want to see if this one really create ID is equal to a string or a number. Let me test it. Refresh it. Create the one for me. The ID is a number. I want to update it to string. So I think I just call the function toString. Let's here the toString. Yeah, I want to update it. I want to make it as a string. Yeah, it is string right now. Okay, this is what I expect. So I'll copy this into our user service here. User ID is equal to a random number and toString.
That's going to be on GitHub?
Yeah, that will be on GitHub. Let me push it to GitHub. Okay, so this is my folder. Right click, git bash here. Git add dot. Git commit. And user dot client dot user service dot client dot ts. Git push. Okay, so this is actually the service in our client side. We will also have another service in our server side, and this client side service will communicate with the server side service to get the real data in the future. Right now we are only working. We are assuming we are getting a read from our server side. Okay, like the users array, the website array, the page array. That is the array we assume we're getting from the server side. Okay.